pushing when you should be pulling. Start the groove at your own risk. And put your feet right behind the beat. Leave your fantasies out there in the street and get in time. Real time, baby. Get in time. Real time, baby. Don't you know this game is over? When you gonna hear the news? You can search the whole world over, looking for a game that you can lose. So roll the dice and count your blessings twice. Spin the wheel, later for the price. Just get in time. Real time, baby. Get in time. Real time, baby. Oh yeah. You're playing all those different places. Over, under, upside down. You can fill all the spaces with your feet on solid ground. Oh, I wish you knew the things that you could do. Just relax. Everything comes true when you're in time. I'm talking about real time, baby. You're in time. Real time, baby. Now that's real time, baby. Real time, baby. That's real time, baby. Real time, baby. Oh, that's real time, baby. Real time, baby. That's real time, baby. Real time, baby. Got to do it in real time. Got to do it in real time, baby. Got to do it in real time, yeah. Got to do it in real time, baby.
The name of that song is titled Real Time, and it was written, produced, and recorded by my special guest today, Billy Price. Billy is a recipient of the 2016 BMA Best Soul and Blues album, along with Otis Clay. He has also recorded over 20 albums, CDs, and DVDs, and he has a new collection that has just been released, a 3-disc set called 50 Plus Years of Soul, that was released on August the 24th. Billy, welcome to the Friday Afternoon Music Mix.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. I was so thrilled when you sent me the collection that you have just released. It is such a wonderful example of your work over the last 50 years, and I enjoyed it so much. And I've been playing it quite a bit on my show. I am thrilled to have you on here. And I want to talk a little bit about your career. I know you've started out with someone that is a legend in the business and a legend in many more ways than one. And that's the great guitar player, Roy Buchanan. Tell me a little bit about your work with him.
Yeah, I was, I think, 21 or 22 years old when I got the call to go out on the road with Roy and record an album with him. And so I got an early start in the music business through Mr. Buchanan. I was the young guy in the group at the time, if you can believe that. The other guys in the group, Roy, I think, was in his mid to late 30s, and the other guys were a little older than me, but I was the young pup back then.
And you recorded two albums.
Two albums, yeah. There was a studio album both on Polydor Records. The studio album was called That's What I'm Here For. I was kind of the writer on 4 or 5 of those songs on that album. And then we did a little bit of touring. I went back with a group I had in Pittsburgh, which is my town, for a little while. And then Roy owed one more obligation to Polydor Records before he moved to Atlantic Records. And so they did a live album at Avery Fisher Hall in New York. And they brought me in for that. And that album was called Livestock.
One of the things about Roy Buchanan, Billy, is that he's not only known for being a fantastic guitar player, but there are lots of stories about his legend. And of course, his life ended tragically through taking his own life. What a character over the years.
He really was a character, no doubt about that. Quite an experience being around him and being on the road with him. And he was above all, he loved music very deeply. I learned a lot from him, and we connected on that level. We were both kind of music fanatics, and so we would spend a lot of time on the road, staying up all night and listening to music together.
That must have been an amazing time for
It
you.
really was, yeah.
You've also been a frequent BMA nominee over the years. The one that you received in 2016 with Otis Clay, that must have been very special. Unfortunately, he passed away just before the award was issued.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, my collaboration with Otis was probably the thing I'm most proud of in my entire career. I had a chance to work right next to one of my real heroes, and I learned an awful lot from being around him. We probably performed together, I don't know, 20 or 30 times over the years. But as you mentioned, toward the end of his life, he suggested to me that we should do an entire album together. And so we got Duke Robillard, the great guitar player from New England, to produce an album with Duke's rhythm section and Otis and me singing, and Otis's background singers are on the album as well. And that was the album This Time for Real, which, as you say, was the last recording of Otis's career.
Amazing, another amazing experience in your life.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
Let's do a second cut from this tremendous new compilation that you put together. The 3-disc set is called 50 Plus Years of Soul. Was released on August 24th. My Love Comes Tumbling Down.
Way past midnight, when sleep won't come, my mind starts drifting back to all the sweet things we've done. In the park on a Tuesday afternoon, in the dark, in a faraway hotel room, all alone, and you're not around. Oh, baby, my love comes tumbling down. It's tumbling down. Standing on a busy street, I thought I heard your name in the sound of passing feet or the drip drop of the rain. In the wind, in the cold, and in the snow, I take you with me, baby, every place I go. Every time when you're not around, oh does, baby. Every minute of every hour, baby, I want you just a little bit more. It grows stronger every day than it was the day before. There's no end, there's no remedy. Nothing's right, baby, till you're lying here next to me. Every time when you're not around, especially in the midnight hour, baby, my love comes tumbling down. Baby, you drive me crazy. Baby, can't get enough of your love, baby. When you're not around, when you're not around, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love comes tumbling down. Yes, it does, baby. For you, baby.
Another terrific song. By the way, I want to point out that these songs that we're playing in our interview today, they were all written by you.
I co-wrote all these songs. Yeah, I can't think of any song I wrote entirely by myself. Yeah, the one we just listened to, I wrote with a French guitar player named Fred Chapelier, and I've done a couple of albums with Fred. Wonderful guitar player and a great writer too.
Do you do the production of this collection that you put together? Do you do the arrangements?
You mean the musical arrangements?
Yes.
No, never entirely. I always do this in collaboration with people. I think I'm often listed as a producer or co-producer on these things, but as I say, I'm always working with other people.
You're very humble. Thank you for that.
If I could say all the credit, I would in a minute. So I could lie about it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. The production on this 3 CD set is just amazing.
Ready to work with some really great people over the years.
You have. Speaking of great guitar players, I read in bio information about a guy that I wanted to ask you a little bit about, Glenn Pavone.
Oh man, yeah. Wow. You know, this is the era of the heroic blues guitar player. There's a lot of guys around that are great, you know, going back to Stevie Ray Vaughan and before that, you know, Mike Bloomfield and other people. I honestly think Glenn Pavone is in that league. He was the guitar player in my band. I think we heard him on the earlier track he played Real Time. I think he's one of the co-writers of that. You know, Glenn is someone that's pretty much unknown. After he and I no longer were working together, he made a couple of albums on his own that got really no distribution, and no one's ever really heard them. But anyone who ever heard this guy live, you know, he would make your jaw drop. And not just his lead guitar playing, but his rhythm guitar playing was just so beautiful and impeccable. He's on a lot of the tracks on this collection. As I was listening through the songs, to try to choose what tracks to include on this, it just struck me that every single song he performed on, he just elevated it in a way that any other guitar player wouldn't have. He was a remarkable musician and a natural musician. I mean, he just had it. He had this gift, and it was unmistakable. Anybody who ever heard him would tell you that. Yeah, died
To,
of esophageal cancer at a pretty young age.
I was going to say, I read that. It didn't
Yeah,
say his age, but I saw that he tragically passed from esophageal
yeah,
cancer.
about a little over 10 years ago.
Let's point out my special guest today is blues soul artist Billy Price. He has a brand new, fantastic 3 CD disc collection. It's titled 50 Plus Years of Soul. That was released on August 24th. Billy also has fantastic websites and social media sites. His website is billyprice.com, and you can see him on social media at facebook.com/Billy Price Band, twitter.com/Billy Price PGH, as well as instagram.com Billy Price PGH. Many of the songs that are on this fantastic collection were written by Billy, but when you get this collection, what comes with it is something that's just really amazing, which is the 16-page digital book on Billy's background, collaborations with other artists, color photos. I mean, this is really a work of love. Included with that is talking about the credits of who wrote the songs, who you co-wrote with.
Uh,
You've really done a great job on this, Billy. Congratulations.
yeah, it was a lot of work to put the whole thing together. Particularly the credits, because you do one album and the credits are pretty straightforward, but you're collecting all these different albums, and so I wanted to be sure that every musician who appeared on this was credited in some way. So if we'd have included it in the physical package, it would have been prohibitively difficult. It would have been a 60-page booklet instead of a 16-page booklet. So we put up a website where all the credits are, and the website is linked. Actually, there's a QR code in the package that you can just point your phone at it. It'll open up the credits.
What an amazing way to present this and do it in a way that's not cost prohibitive. I want to talk a little bit about an album that you released called The Soul Collection in
Mm,
1997. Tell me a little
mhm.
bit about that as well.
Yeah, that was, this kind of thing has been popular among artists. I mean, even Springsteen has a new album out. Covers a lot of old soul records. My idea was to look through my record collection, pick songs that most people have never heard that are great songs. We got a great collection of Pittsburgh musicians into the studio who love this music as much as I did. And it's an album, sometimes on my shows, I'll be interacting with people and they'll say, which one of these is your favorite album? I often point them to the Soul Collect. I'm very proud of what we did there. And that was actually the first time I used Otis Clay's background singers on that album. I think I recorded that in 1996 or 97, and I was already doing some shows with Otis Clay at the time. Teresa Davis and Diane Madison and Robin Robinson, I think, were the background singers on that. And they were the background singers in Otis Clay's band. And also, there's a song on there called That's How It Is that Otis and I sing together. And Otis also jumped in and sang a background vocal on another one of the songs. So that was the first time we ever really recorded together.
Kind of like that documentary 30 Feet from Stardom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were great. I think Teresa was in the original version of The Emotions, vocal
Wow.
group from Chicago, and Diane Madison had sung with Aretha Franklin. She was one of Aretha Franklin's background singers. And they're the background singers on all the Otis Clay albums and many of the Tyrone Davis albums as well.
You've got a great band. The last 2 years, you've been voted best soul band in Pittsburgh, where you're based.
Yeah, we have a great band.
Your first band was called the Keystone Rhythm Band,
Hmm.
and now Billy Price Band.
That's right. Yep.
This is no inexpensive feat to keep a group like this on the road and form.
Yeah, I mean, most guys travel around with three-piece, guitar, bass, and drums. It's hard to make money with a big band, but I need those horns. I have to have the horns.
Sure adds to the soul music, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds like straight out of Muscle Shoals.
Mm-hmm.
My special guest today is Billy Price. He has a brand new, fantastic collection that we've been playing from. It's titled 50 Plus Years of Soul and reflects his over 50-year career as a soul and blues artist and a winner of the 2016 BMA Award, a numerous nominee of BMA. By the way, for those who don't know, that's Blues Music Award. Hopefully you'll win it again with this collection.
You know what? I did not enter this thing. You have to like fill out a form, and if you want to be considered for those awards. This album came out. I'm using a friend of mine's label, which is Get Hip Records, and it's previously, Gulf Coast Records and Viztone, labels that I was on, always would submit all their releases to the BMAs. So, long story short, I screwed up and didn't submit this. So this is not going to receive any awards, but oh well.
Billy, thank you so very much for joining me here today. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Let's go out one more song from this fantastic collection. This is titled 1 and 1.
Small cafe, George Jones and Tammy Wynette, biscuits and gravy, a baby and a bassinet. Now we can go together, baby, just like all of these things. Let's investigate the happiness that being together brings, because I know that 1 and 1 together is greater than 2 alone. 2 together feels so much better, baby, than 1 and 1 on their own. Now if you're having trouble deciding, baby, don't you hesitate. I can make a contribution in your life, girl, that you might appreciate. So please accept my